Good evening. Welcome to Loud Poets. Please clap your hands, stamp your feet, and make some noise for your host and compere, Mark Galley. That is what I need on my Friday night. Thank you so much. How are we all doing? Are we well? Good. That is the energy I like to hear. Welcome, as the very handsome voice said. My name is Mark Galley. This is Loud Poets Best of Fringe. Give me a wee shout if you've been to a spoken word show before. Further away and en masse. Very, very nice. Give me a wee shout if this is your first ever spoken word show. Ooh, towards the front, bold. No one warned. They all knew, and they didn't warn you as you came down the front. Well, if you are new, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. And thank you to all of you for being with us this evening. We know there was an awful lot of stuff on at the Edinburgh Fringe, so it means a lot that you've come inside away from the rain this evening. I did the like from foot. Well, what is tonight going to be? So, I will be your host for this evening, taking you through 3 rounds of our poetry show. We have 3 absolutely incredible poets for you this evening, and we are going to take them through our 3 rounds. The first round, our poets are going to come out one at a time and introduce themselves to you by way of one of their poems. Then in the middle, we add some absolutely must-needed chaos into the world of poetry with Poetry Jukebox. More on that later. And then finally, in the third round, we have our feature sets where our poets will have 10 minutes to kind of really showcase their stuff to you. Does that sound good? Good. Ooh, we started strong, but we're dipping off a little bit. It's in the show, Loud Poets, okay? We've done quite a lot. So I need you guys to bring the loudness, to bring that energy with you. So I'll ask you one more time. Are you guys ready for that? Oh, fantastic. Then I want that energy as I introduce our first performer. They are an absolute dynamo of the Edinburgh spoken word scene. They have been a long-time favorite of mine. I know they are going to become a favorite of yours. So put your hands together and make some noise as we welcome Paul Case!
All right, folks, I'm Paul. So this poem is called Drink Alone. Sounds like I wrote it during lockdown. I didn't. I wrote it before, so it's got literally nothing to say about any shared experience we all had, and more about my drinking habits. Drink Alone. Sweep through the supermarket to the strip light buzz, beelining straight to the reduced section. There's the battered multi-pack of Tennants and the bruised dark fruit strongbow, all barely held together by the industrious but understandably half-hearted efforts of some employee. And if we weren't drinking alone, we'd invite them over, but we can't, because we're gonna drink alone. So arm up, people. Let's do what must be done to galvanise these few snatches of nothing as we drink alone. But till then, let time shrink until only fringes remain on the edges of history. Ruins of a self-destructive civilization. Drink alone. It's cheap. And none of our so-called mates are badgering us to get our round in or acting like twats or getting in fights. No. It's safe here. Because we're drinking alone. But we WhatsApp our mates anyway. 2 blue ticks like frozen lightning bolts. Like a hope but never quite explodes. Drink alone. Some old or new feeling will be bobbing around. Distressed and helpless, we'll watch it flail for a while, but it will sink eventually. Drowned. Forgotten. And we'll wonder what all the fuss was about, because everything's a bit better now, or at least it exists a bit less. Drink alone. A blurred confusion will come over us. Everything is fine though. Ride the confusion, go wherever it takes us. Just let us remember we'll always end up back where we began, swaddled on the sofa, covered in comfort and misery and numbness, drinking alone, trying to force the stars into a map of cosmic justice, some sort of stars and alignment, but they'll spin out of our hands and into space till they're gone. We won't sleep. We'll transcend that. A black will cloak us and take us away to a place where nothing lives and nothing dreams. And it's all so perfect. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone! Wonderful stuff, Paul. Thank you very much. There will be no drinking alone tonight. Give me a shout if you're drinking. Cheers. There we go. More. Give me a shout if you're not drinking. I think you all heard the difference. But we will continue on with our next poet. They are in Edinburgh for their Fringe show, but they are coming to us from London. They have returned to Edinburgh as something else, to quote their flyer, but I know you are going to become fast favourites as we welcome to the stage Laura Thurlow!
Ghosted. The last time you kissed me, I sliced open my hand, and so I started rustling around for a bandage. But you told me not to worry, and you promised you'd lap up the blood, and so I let it fester. Now I still haven't heard from you. The wound bloated and settled, and now it's just a sore patch of purple skin. And I still haven't heard from you. And I was ready to give you anything. Any part of me or any part of someone else. I was prepared to do an impression of the sort of woman you could love. And I still haven't heard from you. I thought that you would break my heart properly, let me down easily. Instead, you're just missing. And I'm left wondering over swollen skin if there was anything I was meant to do differently. You promised with your tongue and words, you said you'd take care of my plants while I was away, that you'd visit me anywhere, that we could and should bathe one another, sleep comfortably wrapped up in arms, that you'd cradle me until I bled out or even afterwards. But I still haven't heard from you.
Wonderful, wonderful, haunting stuff here at Loud Poets. We really like to, check that line between poetry, entertainment show, and therapy session. So thank you for joining us with that. Our third and final performer is another wonderful favorite of mine. I have been a big fan of their work for a very, very long time. Most recently, I saw them absolutely destroy it at the Spoken Word Showcase as part of the Edinburgh International Book Festival. They have been a long-time performer on this stage, and it is always a pleasure to welcome them out. So please put your hands together and make some noise for the one, the only, Gray Crosbie!
I need a haircut. My hair grows beyond tameable, so has to be cut. It's really that simple. But simplicity seems to jump out the window when I head out the door into our society, which has a limited capacity for people who don't fit the norm. And we're normally offered female or male. Mark the box of a tick. Please make yourself fit. But I'm more that other, if that's even an option. Like I'm some thing on the outside, existing beside the world as it rolls by, all pink and blue. In our society, entirely divisible by two into woman and man. But I relate most to that ampersand. And I need a haircut. So option one is the salon, that womanly world of perfumed femininity with which I feel like I have little affinity. Or option two is the barber's, which isn't always much better since my missing inches and these swells in my chest make me feel like an infiltrator. But barbers or salon, when I get to the chair, before we can even touch on my hair, there's this question which hangs there unuttered and awkward and made all the more awkward when they say, I know this is a bit awkward. And through the mirror, they ask if I'm a boy or a girl. Am I trans? Am I gay? And I don't know what to say. Sometimes I pick my labels to make other people feel okay. But it's never enough to say where I'd like to be trimmed or shaved. They need to know my sex. How else can they charge the appropriate rate? I'm sure you've seen the signs. Women's trim, gents trim 12 quid, women's 29. And it's never enough to say where, I never mess up this poem. Gents trim 5 quid, women's trim 9. It's never enough to say if I were, anyway. This has never happened, Mark. It's 9. It's just totally gone. And I know the majority of people do feel safe in this man-woman divide, but just think of our possibilities if we trimmed a bit off our prejudices. And I know in the past few years things have been changing, and that is amazing. There's drag queens on TV, out queer celebrities, hormones and surgeries, but still too often there's some of us standing, clutching our bladders, stuck trying to decipher which bathroom door symbol we better resemble based on what we are wearing or how brave we are feeling. There's day-to-day struggles people quietly battle, like finding a way to wear your own skin while navigating a world in which we don't always fit in. We're queer and we're here, and life can be tough out there. So do you have to make a fuss, or could you just cut our fucking hair? Thanks. Made it.
Gray Crosbie, everybody! Amazing stuff. My solution was just to avoid them entirely. To just no haircuts ever again. It got to a certain length, and I went, I don't want, no. So we'll just grow out forever. Well, those are our 3 poets. That is our first round. That is how they have chosen to introduce themselves to you. But personally, I think the introduction round, it's too easy. Okay, they have loads of time to prepare for that, and they get to completely frame how you guys see them. So in order to counter that, we have this second round, what we call Poetry Jukebox. How this round will work is all of our poets are going to line up behind me underneath the projector, and our wonderful technician in the booth is going to put on a random one-word prompt. And that is all the poets are going to have as they fight their way to the mic in order to shoehorn in a poem as best they are able. Does that make sense? We've all seen Mock the Week? There we go, we get it. Quick check, anyone from the BBC in? It's never the case. My letters must be going unnoticed. Anyway, but for now, join me in welcoming back to stage all of our wonderful poets. Wonderful stuff. Okay, now with the return of gladiators, it means I get to do this. Not that it would stop me in any other way, but poets, are you ready? Audience, are you ready? Yes! Do better, poets. Roddy, can we have the first category, please? Fun. Oh, no.
Yeah, damn right. Actually, so this poem isn't fun. It's fun adjacent. So. Yeah, but it is about kind of, I suppose, ostensibly having fun. And when I say having fun, I mean doing loads of coke. So, I'm going to keep you motherfuckers restless. I'm going to keep you up all fucking night. I'm the palpitating heart of the party. I've got a drink in each hand and I'm grinding right for you, here to claim the best years of your life. Go on, leer at me, crumbling and dancing across that mirror. Go on, crush me up, chop me up, brush me away, dispose of my body, but my corpse will rise more fierce than you can ever imagine. I'll thicken the air, stuffing it with jabber and hollow laughter. I'll take time in my hands and I'll knead it and I'll stretch it until days become mere glimpses of light and minutes become barren nuclear wasteland stretching over a horizon. I'll be your self-respect, your libido, your love of humanity, your frailty in the face of certain doom. I'll be the sudden gag of the back of your throat, the white of your knuckles as you grip the toilet seat, the whirling black hole of your dilated pupils, and as you do the beer run before the shop shuts, I'm the chill that quivers your ribs. So go on, shut your curtains tight, Pull blankets over your head like children hiding from rapacious monsters and whisper through parched pale lips. But I will come creeping in with the slabs of sunlight and rise with the goosebumps that pepper your flesh. I'll annihilate your tomorrows and the next days if I'm lucky, and the birds will scatter the skies when you scream my name. And then I'm gone, leaving you crawling out of the hole that yawns in my wake. Cheers.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And by no means the longest stretch we've had in this round. Roddy, could we have another category, please? Splendor. Oh, poets, he's okay. Okay, well, Roddy, can we go one more? Change. From anything to anything.
I can do that
You can do that one, but then please.
Once, I was going to move to Paris. By 30, I would be in love. By 23, but maybe never married. And I would have 2 cats, siblings, loving. And I would wear dresses like at least a half dozen sizes smaller, so small you can't imagine them. Finally, petite. Once, I was saving my heart for something, saving my body for something else, and I was careful drinking, afraid to say too much, so silent that I was swallowing my own tongue and gritting my teeth. Once, I was going to speak German too, just in case. And also, somehow my feet would have gotten smaller with age. I wouldn't have children, but I would have made my mind up about that. Or I would know somehow how to prepare them. Wouldn't have doctors telling me to forget about it or to do it soon. There wouldn't be any pressure, not my wasting womb, and not the sky falling down on a too hot London spring, and the sense of the end in every new story I hear, like a morality play, like the fall of the Titans, wanted too much, took too much. And I didn't want to have to wash my hair with a solid bar of shampoo. And I didn't want to surrender that luxury, the paper coffee cup. I didn't want to look listlessly at the end in the face and think how I will miss the fall colors. In truth, once I had my mind made up about the person I could become if I grafted, if I hustled, if I hitched my wagon to the right place. And now, I just don't know.
Wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. Okay, Roddy, can we have one more category, please? Freedom! Free from nothing. Would you like a reroll? All right. Love. Yeah, we can do love. We can do surprise to no one.
It's a lot of pressure there on that one. I actually have lots to do on love. Which one? No, see, that's the one. That's the one.
Too much.
Yeah, no, it's just too much choice. Okay. This is again, it's one of these like love, but like anti-love ones, you know? And by that, I mean it's a breakup poem. So, it's Valentine's Day, 2016. And this year, she served me a breakup in bed. She said we were over, and not much else. Just that she'd let me lie in while she gathered her things, and now she was leaving, and then she just went and left me here thinking, I'm not that bothered. I'm not that bothered. She left wearing my favourite jumper, or that she took the TV with her, and the microwave, and the toaster, and the fucking toilet roll holder. I'm really not that bothered. I just want to know why. Why would she take my last pack of Jammy Dodgers? Because now I'm all alone, imagining that right now she is enjoying sinking her teeth into that raspberry filling and tearing those tiny hearts apart in her car full of her stuff, probably wearing my favourite jumper, the one she wore that time in Berlin when she proposed in the snow. And it's Not that I'm bothered, it's just memories are now crumbling into this morning. I get dressed and head for Tesco. Since someone took the last of my favourite biscuit. And now I can't have them. They seem to be all that I want. I march straight through the store and ignore the people who are staring as though they can already sense the loneliness growing between the creases in my clothing. And it's not that I'm bothered. I now just really need a jammy Dodger. But thank God the wait is finally over as I reach the biscuit rows of aisle 12. I grab a packet off the shelf, tear it open then and there, and hold my jammy triumph in the air. And it's then that I see it. Those words on the wrapping boasting a new and improved recipe. Now, one of the things she did leave me is vegan. She converted me, not forcefully, but in a proper life-changing way with facts and foods and documentaries. And since then, I have learned that new and improved recipes can be cause for celebration if they've removed the dairy and the egg and the product is now vegan. Or new and improved can mean they have fucked with something that should not have been touched, something beautiful and accidentally vegan like this biscuit that I'm holding, so I scan the ingredients which confirms my suspicions, nestled between sugar and gluten. Why today the vegan alternatives are already so limited and other confectionaries just will not cut it, because while I love a good digestive, it is just not a substantial enough biscuit for heartbreak. Not that I'm bothered, but fuck you, Burton Biscuits, you bastards! And I crush that traitor Jammy Dodger between my fingers and tear open another packet wrapper. Jammy Dodger after Jammy Dodger, I rip my shirt and smash fistfuls of biscuit into my skin, mash our mangled hearts together and rub that dirty lactose on my limbs and through my hair. Till there's crumbs in my tears. The fucking shelf is bare. And I collapse to a floor smeared red and sticky as morning shoppers pass by, pushing the wheels of trolleys and prams through her name, written in jam. Thank you.
Tremendous stuff, tremendous stuff. And I think we'll on that note, I think we'll leave off there. So can we have a round of applause for all of our poets as we invite them back to have a wee sit down? Thank you very much. Oh, don't worry. We'll give them a couple of moments to recover from Poetry Jukebox as we move into round 3, our feature sets. But just to give them a few moments to get a drink, to take a breath, to think. I will do the always most fun part of any Fringe show, which is the plugs. So for those that have been going to Fringe shows or those that have seen other stuff, you'll know there's obviously quite a lot on, and for us that is no exception. We have a merch table upstairs that has flyers for all of the performers that are doing Fringe shows over the run. There is so many shows you can go see. Spoken word is always the absolute smallest section in the Fringe booklet, and I think our poets have very much proved this evening that the absolute variety and breadth of the art form cannot be underestimated. So please do check out the flyers for other shows. Let's say Laura has a show that I highly encourage you to go see before it is done. We are at the end of the Fringe, which we all know is the time to go see stuff so we can say we saw stuff during the Fringe. Last chance, guys. Yous are doing great. Keep it going. We also have a mailing list upstairs for anything that's sort of going on, not only with the I Am Loud team or Loud Poets Nights, but also with spoken word kind of across the UK. So please do sign up. We send like 2 emails a month, and Bex that writes them is far more coherent than I am. So you'll be all good for that. As well as that, I know that Gray also has books for sale. So if you can and you do want to support more, please do. It is the Fringe, and poets are a hungry people. And if you can't, if you can't support in that way, if you can't buy a book, please do tell a poet you enjoyed their stuff. If it can't be food, make it be validation. The other source of groups like Sunlight and Water for plants, but money and validation. But I'm going to stop talking for a little bit longer as we introduce back our first performer. You already have seen a lot of their work. You know how just enigmatic and engaging and fun they are, so I shall waste no more time in welcoming back the one, the only, Paul Case!
Sorry, so this first poem, it's actually a little, sorry, it's quite personal to me, so sorry, I feel a little bit tearful just doing it. Sorry, one sec. My girlfriend's gone to a women's only meeting, and she didn't invite me. My girlfriend's gone to a women's only meeting, and she didn't invite me. I asked her if I could come. She said no. It's a women's only meeting, and you're a man. As she was getting ready, I asked what time she'd be back, and she said she didn't know. She was going for drinks afterwards. As she was putting on her shoes, I told her I'd miss her. And do you know what she did? She just went like that. And then I asked her the question that was burning in my chest as a life partner, as a lover, as a friend. I asked her, what am I going to do about dinner? And do you know what she did? She just muttered the word twat under her breath and walked out. Now I'm in the flat, all alone. All I wanted was some beans on toast. I found the bread and the beans all right, but I couldn't find the tin opener. So I texted her saying, where's the tin opener? In capital letters, so she would know it was important. But no reply. Found it eventually. It's in the cutlery drawer. But as I was opening up the tin of beans, I cut my finger on the serrated edge. I was bleeding. I couldn't find the plasters, so I texted her again. Where's the plasters? In capital letters, again and again. Put a bit of tissue around it. I think it's all right, but I just don't know. It's so cold. But I don't have to text her about that. Because I know where my jumpers are. I know where my jumpers are. I know where my jumpers are. Thanks. So yeah, my name's Paul. I've got a sort of small plugs, but for October, I'm not doing anything in the Fringe. I'm just like really lazy. But October's busy if you're around. I've got well, if you're not from here but you live elsewhere, like in England, I'm doing my anarchist history, sci-fi, crime thriller, spoken word theatre show in Bristol, Southampton, and London in mid-October, and in at the end of October in Edinburgh, I'm doing a kind of storytelling preview of my anti-colonial horror show, which is grim and bleak as fuck. So yeah, if you're into either of those very, very niche things, feel free to come up and say hello after the show. Cool. So this will be the third poem that mentions supermarkets, breadth and variety of the scene. Honestly, like what the fuck. Yeah, all right. I've been warned before, you see, because they're filming this, you see, and they like me to stay in the boxes. I don't know. Yeah, cheers. So, sorry in advance. Last time I just fucked it up completely. Okay. I was meandering through the supermarket, bored. I swung my trolley into another aisle in the hope of finding something of interest, and then my eyes immediately fixed on one item. Pre-sliced carrots. I spun around, and there was pre-sliced stuff everywhere. Pre-sliced potatoes, tomatoes, red pepper, green pepper, orange pepper, yellow pepper, broccoli. I thought to myself, what the hell is going on? Do I really not have enough time to slice my own vegetables? Everything had seemed fine in my life when it came to vegetable slicing, but it occurred to me at that moment I'd been living the life of a pathetic, shallow freak. And when I really thought on it, I realised that slicing vegetables is what had been holding me back in life. Without vegetable slicing taking up my precious time, I could have learned how to hang glide, finished my novel, or finally got around to having sex. I then jogged my memory of every time I was slaving over slicing a vegetable, sweat dripping off my brow, knuckles white with tension, screaming to myself, however, since the day I was born, my whole existence has been slice, fucking slice. Oh my God, when will this drudgery end? Why must I be the slave to the natural shape of a vegetable? Why must the sands of time fall between my fingers, never to be regained as I inch ever closer to death? And I distinctly remember falling to my knees in the middle of the kitchen, clasping my hands together in prayer, screaming to the heavens, won't someone, somewhere save me from this hell, this torment, this damnation, and relentlessly lifting a knife up and down against the vegetable. But here's a time for revolution. I will no longer be oppressed. I'd rather die standing than live on my knees, or more appropriately, I'd rather die stuffing pre-sliced vegetables down my throat than put up with this endless, meaningless slicing. So I picked up all the pre-sliced vegetables my arms could carry, paid for them, and ran home. And now my cooking is much faster. And I have plenty of time to be miserable and dissatisfied in other areas of my life. Thanks ever so much. Cheers, guys.
Peace, everyone! Oh, sensational stuff. I wasn't expecting the public safety announcement. If you see one of your poets in a local supermarket, do not approach. They are going through something, and it'll probably be a part of a poem at a later date. They seem to have made it through the other end, though, so we're very, very thankful. But yeah, absolutely do check out Paul, not just to make sure he's all right, but please do check out the stuff that's got coming up. Paul is one of those just incredibly busy people that is always doing very, very, very cool stuff. So please do check out the stuff, have a word with him upstairs. A performer that has stuff on much sooner that you can enjoy is our second poet. Again, I feel like I don't really need to introduce them too much. You've seen them already. You know what they're all about. Please join your hands, easy for me to say. Clap your hands, stamp your feet, and make some noise as we welcome back Laura Thurlow!
Wow. I'm scared that the world is ending just as things are getting good for women. And 20 years before they're likely to get good for me, my joke is that I think I'll have a grand affair in my 50s. Maybe by then I'll have warmed up enough. It's not that I was born too soon, as I think the world was worse before. it's hard to say. There might have been a gap 100 years ago when anything was possible. And maybe I should have been living then, before my grandmother even. And I'll be 33 by the time she would have lived a century, but she didn't, of course, and I know wherever she is, if she's anywhere, she's not thinking about me. Things were bad for women of her generation. Things are still bad, and I'm starting to think that the world will end before we get the kind of personhood that men have invented for themselves, 2,020 years of Western personhood. I'm not sure when the clock started on heroism, on gentlemen's agreements. I didn't get a classics degree, and sometimes I think I should have, because maybe then I'd feel comfortable in more rooms than I do now. Well, anyway, it's over before it's beginning. The renaissance of women as creatures once living. I didn't grow up with that story, and we haven't got time to write another one. What will romance look like at the end of the world? I don't know if there's any space for me in that, but it's all that I can think about. In my fantasy, I'm in my 50s, and I live somewhere remote in the west of Ireland. And I've been married, but he hates me. And I've lived a good sort of sterile Catholic life, and then one day someone finds me, gets off a fishing boat or something. Sometimes I think he's the singer Hosier. He's not that much older than me, so he'd be in our mutual 50s. And I don't know, maybe he's not in a fishing boat. He's like a minor car wreck nearby. And I come running out to see what all the matter is, and he's as gorgeous as he's ever been. And so am I. I've got like a full meter of long red hair streaked with gray. We lock eyes, and it just makes sense. I actually met him once, Hosier, in like 2015. He played a show at Massey Hall in Toronto. And I met him afterwards, and I racked my brain for anything to say. And in the end, I didn't say anything, but he just opened his arms for a hug. And I swear the wind left my lungs. My God, I would love to love a man like that, before the world ends. But he'd have to come and find me. I have no will to do the finding. And I've never heard a story that begins that way. How I wanted to be your shoes. You spoke about the future like you had mastery of its shape. Wanting anything, it felt impossible then, like I could only be glad to be breathing. You wanted to go to Malaysia. Are you there now? Does the sun bleach your hair lighter than mine has ever been? Does it kiss you? Who kisses you now that I am full-time zealot? I worry that when they find my bones, if they find my bones on the next century's TV, they'll know somehow from their shape that I was a solitary sort of creature. Like there'll be some remnants of my prickled skin about me, what they say. I shouldn't care. It's not as though I think I'll be listening. I want to be an optimist, but I do believe that what comes next is silence, and it makes me want to fill this life with noise. The noise of you, streetcar rattling past your window, the shivering of your coat over my head in an August downpour. I want to be alive. I want to be alive. I know I am, and yet I still feel somehow that no one can see me or that they can hear me, but I'm like a radio spun to the wrong station, only picking up bad news and ballads written by and for the brokenhearted. I want you in my house, but I do not want even once to pick your socks up off the floor. And I never want to scrape what you've been eating from a drain. I want you in my arms, but I do not want you to have to see the sight of me. I want you to be blind in that you are so loving that you can't see the parts of me that flake off every time you touch me. Chasing, scattered on the wind, you spoke of a future in which my fate is mine, but I have only seen it two ways. One, in which I am myself, and I have the choices dead women long have wanted for me. And another, where I am your caretaker, and you keep me by your side, and slowly you pull me apart, inch by bleeding inch, for whenever you need good organ meat to line a pair of shoes. That isn't fair. I'm sure there's someone kissing you. Thank you very much. I've been Laura Thurlow. I'll still be here tomorrow. I won't be here. I will be elsewhere. There's flyers upstairs. 10 p.m. every night, 12:50 on Sunday. Thanks.
Laura Thurlow, everyone! Tremendous stuff. Yeah, as Laura said, there is still opportunity to see her before she go back down to London. So I highly encourage you. Yeah, grab a flyer. We will have a projector of that up later on. But yeah, please just go talk to her. Go see the show. Okay, guys, we have come to the final performer of the evening. Give me an aw. Thank you. But that does mean that we have one final performer for you. Excellent stuff. We have a tradition for the final performer of the evening. There's only one way to introduce them, which is with the loud rumble. So if you are new, I will guide you through. I want everyone to just start tapping their feet on the ground, just nice and gently to start with. Just build that up a little bit. There we go. That's good. A little bit more. Okay, let's start getting those hands on the laps, just making some noise. Switch it over to clapping. Get it clapping. Get it screaming as we welcome the incredible Gray Crosbie!
Oh man, there's no pressure like it. Hi again. I'm gonna start with a newer poem. It's one of these ones that's like really personal, which I write because I can't afford therapy. Yeah, it's a kind of really oversharey kind of poem. Because yeah, if you couldn't tell by me forgetting my lines earlier, I love to feel vulnerable in front of a crowd of people. Yeah, so this poem's called Finally. One of my favourite corners of the internet is Instagram #top surgery. It's a gallery of post-op topless trans men selfies. Pictures like both finish lines and starting blocks. They are the only gender reveal party I ever want to go to. I love the way that in most, the subject doesn't look at the camera, but instead to where their fingers can't help but trace their scars. Souvenirs of long journeys, and how they always seem to have that look of wonder, as though asking, have I finally arrived here? I am a trans guy-ish person. I haven't had top surgery. This is partly due to the fact that I don't always trust myself to know what's best for me. For example, I used to ache for, of all things, a boob job. In a previous life, when I thought with a few extra cups of femininity, I might finally feel woman enough. So now I think surgery, and I remember how regret can stain, how it can take years to fade. I think surgery, and it's all the gory minutes unanesthetized, it's splitting flesh and spreading red. I think surgery, and yet I think it's inevitable. Because if it's not the right answer, I don't know what is. Chest binding, if you've never done it, it's pretty fucking shit. The euphoria is top notch, but it comes at the cost of backache and half full lungs. I hate that I don't build muscle because I think there's no point if I can't show it off. I hate how two swells can ruin an otherwise brilliant outfit. I hate the swimming pools I can't visit. I hate that I hate summer now. I hate feeling as though I'm living in the waiting room watching life through the window. I hate that no matter how many times I smash like on those #topless selfies, the jealousy doesn't ease. I hate that deep down I know I believe surgical risks like skin necrosis and infection are preferable to the complications of a stranger in the men's toilet noticing my chest. In all of this, the thing I don't hate, however, are my breasts. In the mirror, from another person's perspective, Yes, but not from where I see them. There's been times even when I've caught them at a certain angle, wearing shadows just right, seen far too small and entirely too big, and strangely, perfectly me. And I imagine them lopped off, lying where they're dropped in a medical waste bin, despite the lost connection, nerve endings still firing wild signals. Something's not right. Can you feel this? I hate that it seems easiest to cut apart a body than break a man mold I know I shouldn't want to fit into, but I do. And I think that just around the corner, there could be a future where we cut up gender templates and not people, and chests can be topless, all nipples free. But maybe there's not, just like there wasn't round the last corner or the one before that. And I think of top surgery, and those words are key shaped. A simple single tick next to 50 messy pages of working out. And I think I should just stop hesitating, leave the waiting room before it's too late and I become one with the backache and the half-full lungs, settle into a softer body and never try out muscles even just for fun, miss a lifetime of summer swimming and never get my own topless selfie where I look down and wonder, touch my own scar souvenirs as I ask, have I finally arrived here? Thank you. Thanks so much. I feel like we know each other really well now after sharing all that. It's one of those things that you can't even talk about. So it's like, I'm just gonna write a poem and share it with a room full of strangers. That sounds healthy. As Mark mentioned, I have a wee book. It's a tiny little book and it's full of tiny little stories. They're quite strange. That about sums it up. The book's called Love Pan-Fried. I'm going to read one from it. The title of this piece is Love Pan-Fried. In case you forget that, it's called Love Pan-Fried, and it is available upstairs. If you like what I do and you'd be interested in buying a copy, that'd be lovely. Yes, it's Love Pan-Fried. You always said that I loved you too much. And I guess you were right. You said it again that day by the pond when you told me how you weren't responsible for my happiness, and I didn't respond because I was so lost in your eyes, which matched the water perfectly, all sun-speckled and murky. That day when I loved you so hard that you exploded into a million pieces. You landed in the water, mostly. I jumped in after your scattered chunks, but the fish gobbled you up so quickly I think they loved you too. So all that was left to do was fish. So I fished that day, that night, until it was dark, and I was sure I had caught every last one. Then I left the park and carried you home, nestled inside their stomachs. They still fill my entire freezer, those fish. But if ever I feel sad, and sometimes I do, I just fry one up. They make me feel better. I love them so much. Thanks. The rest are a bit less cannibalistic, if that's not your thing. Yes, I'm going to do one more poem. Thanks so much for having me here. These are always my favourite nights, so it's great to be here. This last poem's called Taboo. Amanda has binned the excuses. She's scrubbed off the words gross and disgusting because actually she quite likes it. She likes having sex on her period. Kira does it on her lighter days only. In the shower, usually, where any traces of shame are instantly rinsed away and swallowed by the drain. Meanwhile, Carrie loves how her nerve endings are extra sensitive on the days that she's heaviest. Susie, too, knows the benefits. Chooses to fight those cramps with orgasms instead of paracetamol, and swaps out hot water bottles for the warm press of skin. And Audrey, she's been trying to conceive for years, so takes her chances. Dares to hope on that slim risk of pregnancy her teachers warned her about. Scout and her girlfriend now quite like the aftermath. How their skin is finger painted and strokes, and Gasp grabs their bedsheet, a canvas dashed with different shapes of womanly. As for Benny, it's his least favourite time of the month because men's toilets don't usually have the right kind of bins for him, and pads just do not fit on boxers. Those 6 days he hates himself that bit harder. But in bed, Tom, his partner, guides apart knees. String in his teeth eases that cotton free, unfazed enough for both of them, and loves him in all the same ways. Shay loves how she's the only one who knows that shade of red on her wife's lips, how it's shared in a kiss and smeared on the back of their fists. Meanwhile, Nina, she fucks Aisha as a fuck you because there's no taboo in her body, not when it's her blood, her stubbled legs, her curves, her body hair tangled in her fingers. They're bedding like a crime scene where misogyny was murdered. Deborah has long since given up feeling ashamed. June wants the kind of love that leaves behind stains. Lou plays it safe. They use condoms and PrEP. And Lynette, she doesn't like period sex, so chooses not to do it. And that's fine too. But for the third of the population who are sexually active, who apparently do, why is it that when pulses have slowed, hair flattened, clothes straightened, why is it that the passion and fun and love and just general indifference towards periods and sex while on them is so often left behind under cooling duvets or tucked away between soap bottles and sponges or lost down the side of the sofa seat? Why is there still all this stigma? It's blood that flushed those cheeks. Blood that makes our hearts beat. Thank you very much.
Gray Crosbie! Just mind-blowing stuff. Thank you so much, Gray, and no need to thank us. It is always a pleasure to have you on stage, as it has been for all of our poets. Guys, that's brought us to the end of the evening, sadly. But just before I let you get away, as Gray mentioned, please do drop by the merch table on your way out. There are pamphlets and books and so many things, like more things than I will be able to remember. So please do go check that out. Tell a poet you like them. I know that poets, artists, they always have projects ongoing. So even if there's not stuff for just now, there is normally stuff coming up, stuff online, all over. So please do check them out. But for now, I just want to ask you, can we get one huge round of applause for our wonderful technician in the booth, Roddy! All of the wonderful staff here at the Scottish Storytelling Centre. And one tumultuous round of applause for your poets this evening, Paul Case, Laura Thurlow, and Gray Crosbie! This has been Loud Poets. I've been Mark Galley. You guys have been fucking incredible. Have an amazing night!